Well, hello there. You're watching Go on Shaw TV, the Poppy Edition. Well, hello there. You are watching Go on Shaw TV, and it is the Poppy Edition because the Royal Canadian Legion's annual Poppy campaign is getting ready to kick off, has kicked off, and I'm here with President of our local branch, 293, Monty Ellison, who's going to tell us a little bit about it. This is only a once-a-year event, isn't it?
It is. It's our major event to collect funds for all the veterans, that we support the veterans. And it starts tomorrow. We start distributing the boxes and to the different businesses around town who kindly collect the money for us.
Now, you said tomorrow, that's going to be October 28th. 29th.
Yes.
Until November 11th.
The 11th, right.
That's when the poppies are available. After that, no more until next year.
That's right. On November 12th, we go back around to all these businesses, collect the boxes, remaining poppies and the monies, and it comes back to the branch to be sorted out and counted out.
Now, the Royal Canadian Legion does so much for veterans. We're going to be talking about that a little bit later. This is one of your biggest fundraisers of the year.
It is the big one, yes.
So this is very important. Is there a minimum donation or just whatever you can spare?
No, 1 cent to $1,000, whatever you care to contribute or able to contribute. Much appreciated.
Well, it is much appreciated. We're going to tell you in just a few minutes because Monty's going to tell me what some of those funds are used for because it is very important. But first, I stopped by a local school just as the bell was ringing. And if you're a gardener, you know that this time of year is when you start cleaning up your gardens. Well, Jenny Fortin stopped by with a group who was doing just that.
Many of us take digging in dirt and the bugs that go along with it for granted. But not Aiden. He loves everything about gardening.
It's hard work. It's like moving stuff in all these blue platforms. They're putting this stuff like the weeds and stuff what don't belong, what they don't want. They are putting on there for compost.
That's right. The gardens at Alberni Elementary are in the midst of a makeover.
Today is about weeding and winterizing our school garden. We've got an amazing group of volunteers, and we've got public donations and lots of volunteers, including little kids.
But these gardens aren't just for looks. They're functional in more ways than one.
We just basically want to plant up a really great, versatile garden with a real good mixture of everything. So, because kids that actually eat fresh foods, they learn to appreciate the taste and the textures and stuff like that, and they learn to make better food choices later on in life. So I think it's all part of the learning curve.
Every shovel of soil and each vegetable planted will have an impact on the students' curriculum and daily routines.
We try to incorporate planting and harvesting. We've had vegetable soup from our garden this year that the kids harvest.
Gardening is just a great idea. I mean, it just totally makes sense. And not only do the kids learn how to garden, but also they're learning ecological literacy and environmental stewardship.
One of the highlights is that kids at recess time, you see them harvesting. They're running around with beans and kale. We've got kale munchers. I thought they were deer eating the kale, but it's really the kids.
Kale munchers or not, the energy and effort that's been put into these gardens is inspiring. Even Aiden is ready to move on to bigger gardening projects.
In outer space and the moon, there's too much cold and there's not enough light. Well, I'm thinking on the moon, they should make like glass over the top and then put light over it, then put some trees, and then they'll start making air.
And if a garden can grow inspiration like that, it must be a good thing. For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Jenny Fortin.
Hi, I'm Kathy Cross with Alberni Valley Community School, and we, along with ADSS Parent Advisory Council and the ADSS Breakfast Club, are hosting a Drug and Alcohol Awareness Night Tuesday, November 17th at ADSS Theatre. Doors open at 6:30 and the program runs from 7 till 9. Hope to see you there.
The bell rings and the hallways fill. It's a scene played out in schools everywhere. But in this school, John Paul II Catholic School in Port Alberni, there's perhaps a little more determination in the footsteps, a little more pride in this little school that could.
I am so proud of this school. We've come a long way. When we first began, I was going to the dollar store to find PE equipment. We need the whole school to make up a team. Now we make up many sports teams.
That first year in 2005 was a challenge, and not just because the entire student body was comprised of just 35 students. It was challenging because once the decision was made to open an independent Catholic school in Port Alberni, there was an enormous amount of work to be done, much of it by volunteers.
We're a little different than a public school that has, the wider district that essentially is animating all the schools below it. As an independent school, you truly are independent, and you have to build your own team.
It took parents and volunteers and a vision that school would be a place where children love to learn and learn to love, as our motto says.
It's a lofty vision for sure, but one that has sustained parents and staff over the past decade and inspired them to build playgrounds, refurbish classrooms, and really do anything that has been required to help this school thrive, something that gives everyone involved a sense of ownership.
Yeah, my parents have always been involved, and it's kind of cool seeing all the volunteers and how it's changed over the years.
Jessica has never attended public school, and just like her brother before her, she's been part of the fabric of John Paul II since the very beginning. Part of an alternative style of education that everyone involved believes in deeply.
It's a fairly traditional school in some ways. There's an emphasis on the virtues here, and just on the kindness and courtesy and caring for others, and that has become a hallmark of John Paul II, and it's been very attractive for the parents that have come here.
A hallmark of the school that seems to have found its niche in the Alberni Valley, and which now proudly boasts an enrollment of 115 students.
I don't see our school ever trying to be a big school, but I think we will be well positioned as a kindergarten to grade 7 school going into the future, really filling part of the educational needs of the valley going forward. I see no reason that we wouldn't be a very vibrant and dynamic part of that.
Not a bad place to be for the little school that 11 years ago was just a dream. For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Nancy Wilmot. I just can't believe that it is 10 years since we first covered the story of the John Paul II Catholic School opening its doors. They've made great use of their time, and congratulations to the parents and families and staff of that school for doing such a good job. Now, we are still here at Royal Canadian Legion Branch 293, the Alberni Valley branch, with President of the Royal Canadian Legion, Monty Elliston, talking about the poppy campaign, which is now kicked off. If you're watching this, you can go out and buy a poppy around town. What are the funds used for?
The funds are used to support our veterans, the Veterans Hospital, the seniors' homes, many places. We distribute anywhere between $20,000 to $30,000 every year that we collect here within the town to senior homes, hospitals, veterans, etc. The money is strictly for veterans or their families.
$20,000 to $30,000 distributed just in town. That's got to make a big difference.
Oh yes.
Now, I grew up in a family with World War II veterans, but there are new veterans from new conflicts coming home every day. Those funds are being used for them.
They're available for them. Unfortunately, we're not getting a lot of response from them at our branch here. That ride I was on this summer was to bring the,
PTSD.
to bring the effects of the PTSD from these veterans out to the community. The communities don't realize we have new veterans now, and we need to support them.
We need to support them, and if you have a veteran in your family, put them in contact with the Royal Canadian Legion. There are funds, there are programs available to help out with things like PTSD.
There is. We don't do it ourselves, but we can put them in contact with the proper channels where they can get help. And remember, if you served in the military, any of the military branches, or the RCMP, and were honorably discharged, you are a veteran.
Absolutely. We're going to talk a little bit more about where you can pick up your poppy in town, because they're going to be around a lot of different spots. But first, I stopped by to visit one of my favorite local artists, and Melissa Martin, the mayor of Art Avenue, is going to take us by the hand and lead us down that shady lane.
And welcome to another edition of Art Avenue. Lots of things happening in the Alberni Valley that I wanted to get right to. As you can see, our current exhibit in the Roland Art Centre Gallery is on until November 14th, so don't miss out on seeing that. Another event that's happening here on the 14th, actually a few things, is a book launch. And that's with local illustrator and author Karen Poirier, and she's going to be doing a book launch here with her current book. It's a children's book, so stop in from 1 until 3 on Saturday the 14th. Another thing that's happening on the 14th, actually it seems to be lots of things, is we're going to be having a work party. So if you're interested in helping hang some Christmas lights for our Celebration of Light event in December, stop by the gallery at 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday the 14th to help us out for a couple of hours to hang some Christmas lights. And here's a few concerts that are happening at Shars Landing. On Wednesday, November 4th is Mike Field Quintet, and that's his album release tour of Attic Jump, and that's jazz, trumpet, and piano. And then there's going to be a concert with Jordan Dean, and that's for 2 days, Saturday, November 7th, and then Sunday afternoon, November 8th. So if you're interested in any of those concerts, stop by Shars Landing today for your advance tickets. Well, that's it for another edition of Art Avenue, but before I go, a few reminders. If you painted a banner last year in the spring, banners are now available for sale at $25 each here at the Roland Art Centre, so they're only going to be available for a short time until the end of November, so certainly stop in the gallery today and find your banner. Another reminder too, with Portal Players, they're doing a closer walk with Patsy Cline. So that musical actually is a family-friendly musical, and it goes until November 22nd. Tickets also are available here at the Roland Art Centre and online and at the box office. So don't forget to pick up your tickets today. So until next time, I'm Melissa Martin for Art Avenue.
Karen Poirier has spent a lifetime honing her skills as an artist. Working primarily in watercolor, she's at her best when she's using color and form to tell a story. And it's that storytelling ability that eventually led her into a new chapter in her life. Well, that and 2 cats.
My husband brought home 2 little kittens. They were brothers, and it was interesting to watch them, their different characteristics, even though that they were brothers.
Those 2 little cats enthralled Karen, and when one of them wandered away on a solo adventure, it seemed natural for her to write it down, even if she had to imagine a fair bit of it.
Yeah, I just had fun with it. I wrote it in rhyme, and decided it was a good subject for a book.
Yes, a book, a children's book that, naturally enough, she would illustrate. But for this artist who had challenged herself for years to paint with realism, creating the more naive drawings that she felt were best suited to this story was more difficult than she expected.
It took a while. I tried different mediums and different papers. I'd never done children's illustrations before. I suppose I just got down and did age-appropriate pictures.
Karen laughingly admits to channeling her inner child for this project. And part of that channeling was moving from watercolors to colored pencils.
Was wonderful. I love having pencils in my hand, whether it's graphite or pencil crayon. It's just so relaxing. I love it.
Karen did fall in love with the process of creating this book. Telling a story with art is, after all, her forte. But she also let us in on a little secret. It wasn't just her cats that inspired her to write this book. It was also written with 2 of her young grandchildren in mind.
I have 7 grandchildren, and I wrote it with them in mind, you know, about brotherly love and getting along and that kind of thing, and valuing each other.
Brotherly love and caring for each other. Good advice for cats and children. And a beautiful legacy from Grandma the artist/author/cat lover. For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Nancy Wilmot.
I love you, said Ronald. I always will stay. Thank goodness, said Donald. We're a twosome that way.
Karen Poirier is actually launching her book at the Rollin Art Centre on Saturday, November 14th from 1 to 3. Great opportunity to stop by and meet a lovely lady, a very talented lady, and pick up a copy of that book, a great gift for any of the youngsters in your life. Now, we're going to take a bit of a break, so please stay with us. Well, welcome back. You are still watching Go on Shaw TV. We are still here at Royal Canadian Legion Branch 293, the Alberni Valley branch, with President Monty Elliston. And Monty, we've been telling people about these great poppies. Where can they pick them up?
Most of the stores in town will have them. Starting Saturday, they'll be at the casino from Saturday right through until next Thursday. And Walmart has been very gracious. Starting Saturday, we'll be there right through until the 12th. They've given us a table inside. We'll have people manning the tables for the whole period there. They're also available at the 7-Elevens, the Ace Hardware, different stores over on 3rd Avenue, 4th Avenue, all across town. Many businesses, well, hundreds actually, has donating their space for these boxes.
And you know, it may seem like a small thing. This is no small thing. Picking up a poppy, wearing it, it's a big deal.
It is, yeah. It shows that you do care.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Monty, thank you so much. I know that this year's poppy campaign is going to be just as successful as it has been in the past, so good on you.
It's our pleasure, and thank you for your support.
Now, we're coming to the end of Go Island, but before we say goodbye, Jenny Fortin proves that you can take the girl out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the girl.
So this is what happens when you try to pet a hungry baby cow. But don't worry, because Carrie's pretty used to it.
My family owns one of the last dairy farms in Port Alberni. That was our first job, was feeding and giving bottles to the baby cows, which was a good little job to be a kid doing.
Carrie's mom and dad believed in farm life and chose to raise their kids with strong family values.
What I love about the farm is that it tells about working together and working hard to achieve goals and stuff. And I think it really did give the kids an awesome work ethic.
But as much as the Shannon family loved working on the farm, they always looked forward to their downtime when they could relax and let their true colors shine.
Since I was a kid, my dad has always been obsessed with music, and so is my mother. And it's funny, every Sunday was rock and roll Sunday, or whatever he felt like, whether it be Linda Ronstadt to the Eagles, to my mom with her country, Tammy Wynette, whatever it might be. But it was just neat because there's always music playing in this house.
As you can see, Carrie grew up with a healthy dose of country life and a passion for music, which made choosing a lead role for the upcoming play at the Capitol Theatre an easy choice.
When Carrie walked into the audition, she didn't do the audition by half. She came made up to win the part, and that includes hair, dress, shoes, makeup, the whole 9 yards. And that was the icing on the cake, because when she sang, right away you could just tell she had a real connection to the material.
Patsy Cline was a whiskey drinking, smoking girl that absolutely told her mind the way it was, and it was pretty phenomenal for that time period for a girl to be that strong, and I give her a lot of props. And a lot of musicians over the years just said she was wonderful, like an absolutely amazing soul, pretty neat in general.
Everybody from Carrie's family to the cast and crew of the play is falling to pieces watching this country girl at heart become the country singer on stage.
The most important thing with music is being able to communicate with your instrument or communicate with your voice if you're a singer. And I think that that's something that immediately struck me with Carrie, is that she communicates with her voice, and that's really, really important. And when you hear her sing, you really understand that she's really communicating something special to the people that are listening.
I know she's been practicing hard since May, and the people have been working really, really hard with her, and she has an amazing voice, and she just has to let that come through, and I'm sure she'll do fine.
I'm absolutely crazy about a closer walk with Patsy Cline, and I'm sure you will be too. We hope to see you here at the Capitol Theatre.
A Closer Walk with Patsy Cline starts November 6th at the Capitol Theatre. For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Jenny Fortin.
Hello everyone in Port Alberni. As you know, my name is Harold Lefty Williams, and this is my wife,
Shanifa.
And it brings us with a great heavy heart today to let everyone know that we are leaving this community. When we came here 3 years ago, my wife and I had no clue what we were coming to. We knew that we were coming to an island, but we had no clue how great and how special of a community that we were moving to. From the school Wood that our children had went to, with the principal there, to my church family, to Shaw TV, to the entire community. We were able to lock into this community and give ourselves, which we believe is what Christians should do. Church is not a building. The church is mobile, which means it's outside of the four walls. And I want to thank everyone for buying into the vision. I want to thank everyone for allowing my wife and I to help the community dream. Because I promise you, it means the world to not just me and my family, but it means the world to these kids in this community. And I want to personally thank Jericho Road Church for giving my wife and I the opportunity to come to Port Alberni, Canada, and serve this church, but also serve you. That's right, you, the community.
Well, that does bring us to the end of another Go on Shaw TV. Kind of a goodbye show. Saying goodbye to Lefty is a bit tough. He's been a regular on our show here, but I know that no matter how far away he goes, he's always going to remember us. Now, I want to end on a positive note, so I'm going to give you a chance to win a book. This is Karen Poirier's book, Ronald and Donald. Lovely book for children, written in rhyme, so if you've got a special child in your life, you're going to want to enter to win it. All you have to do is go to our Facebook page, Shaw TV Port Alberni, private message us with the color of the two cats. Now, I've given you a big hint just a minute ago, so if you were watching, you know the answer. Private message us and tell us what color Ronald and Donald were. Until we meet again, be good to each other.